Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about feedback and how we can use it to our advantage. Now there's many different types of feedback, but the two main types of feedback are solicited and unsolicited. First one we're going to talk about is unsolicited. Now unsolicited feedback can come in a form of, how your parenting style is and how someone else would parent. Give you feedback about relationships, give you feedback about career or your house or your car, any other types of things. Unsolicited feedback also comes in the form of criticism and sarcasm, and this is the form that I find comes most often is the criticism and the sarcasm is, oh, I can't believe you're doing that, or the sarcasm kind of thrown out there seemingly in good humor but really intended as being serious. Now, because we live in an ego-based society, most marketing plays on our fears and plays on our judgments of ourselves so that we can or will compare ourselves to others. Now, what this does is give ourselves a negative feedback based on these comparisons and based on what we see in advertisements and on TV and whatnot. So from day one, we get all of this feedback and criticism and sarcasm and unsolicited feedback from all these external sources. And so this external feedback can really start to play a havoc and start to play kind of a detrimental role on your self-esteem. Now, the other type of feedback is solicited feedback, and this is when we ask for feedback. This is when we ask for feedback from our tribe, from our partner or our mate, from our coworkers, from our clients, and also from ourself with our intuition, and whether you want to call that your peeps or your inner guide. But this type of internal feedback or this type of solicited feedback really ties into our own intuition and really can act as a GPS. Now, this is feedback when, how am I doing as a boss, or how am I doing as a coach or a mentor, or how was this course, or how was this class, or how was my performance, or how am I as a mate? And asking for feedback and requesting suggestions. And that type of feedback, because you're open and willing and ready to accept it, can be very beneficial. Now, many of us find ourselves in situations where we have this external feedback and then the internal feedback that conflict with each other. So let's just say that you're in a relationship and the relationship internally feels very tumultuous. There's a lot of dissonance going on, and externally everyone is saying, oh, you all make such a cute couple and all this other stuff, and then internally you're thinking, not so much. Or let's just say that you are a manager at work and everyone is saying, oh, you're such a fabulous manager, we've waited for you for so long, and I'm so glad that you're so effective and so efficient and so fair and all this other stuff. But inside you're like, oh, I really do not like being a manager, it's too much responsibility and all this other stuff. But you continue to do that managerial position because you get so much praise and so much feedback, unsolicited feedback from people telling you how great of a job that you're doing. Now, this week's challenge is all about looking at a situation that has that conflicting information, the external that does not match the internal. And look at the situation in your life that you want to improve, that one goal that you want to improve, and get really clear on that goal. And allow yourself to ask your tribe and your spirit for feedback about that particular situation. And then commit to those constant course corrections to get closer to that goal. Now, our internal GPS, our intuition, that guidance system, and that solicited feedback really is like being on a ship that has a whole bunch of navigational tools. And solicited feedback is really looking at each of the gauges, saying, how am I doing? Am I still on course? Am I still on track? And unsolicited feedback is kind of taking that external viewpoint and just using your eyes to scan and see where you're going instead of looking at the gauges that you know that are correct. And when you allow yourself to really rely on that internal feedback and that solicited feedback from your trusted tribe of people and your trusted members of your life that really do matter to you and that really do have your best interest in mind can really make a huge impact in your life. So this week's challenge is to look at the situation that you're in, that you feel some type of conflicting energy going on, okay? And look at the goal. Be very clear and specific with yourself of why you're choosing to do that. If you're in that managerial position and there's that conflicting information where everybody's like, oh, you're so awesome, you're so great, yeah, whatever. And inside you're like, oh, I really do not like this position. So that's that conflicting thing. That's step number one for this week's challenge, is look at that situation, find the situation, which you found it. The second part is get really clear and specific on what you want your goal to be. So why are you choosing to stay in that position? Is it because of the money? Is it because of the status? Is it because of whatever that position brings? And if so, does that still resonate with you? If it does, let's just say that you're in it for the money, and internally you feel really like, I really just do not like being in this position. So ask yourself, okay, how can I maintain that monetary exchange of energy for a position that's not necessarily a managerial position? And that's when you can ask for feedback from the higher ups or someone else in the company. Maybe you can transition or do like a lateral move and get out of management and, you know, get into some other position that is more suited to your liking, and not necessarily what other people may want for you, but what you want for yourself, that will probably make you happier. So looking at the situation in your life that you really want to improve on, and getting really clear in your goal on why you are choosing to stay in that situation that has that conflicting energy. And then ask your tribe for feedback, whether it's the higher ups or whether it's your best friend or a sibling or a mate or whomever. Ask for feedback from those trusted people that you know have your highest best interest in mind. And then commit to making those constant course corrections. And sometimes those course corrections can be a little bit unnerving, sometimes they can be scary, sometimes they can be full of fear, but invariably when you choose to make those course corrections and you choose to go with what your heart says and go with what feels good for you and go with what makes you happier, then you allow yourself and you give yourself the chance to live that life that's full of fearless inspiration, that's full of excitement and joy and happiness and a lot less stress. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media platform, as well as an email. And if you've really loved it, please subscribe so you won't miss one single episode of Fearless Friday. Until next week, I'm wishing you a fearless and fabulous day. Mwah!